News Center Maine is partnering with the Maine Monitor to bring you some of the reporting being done by journalists at the nonprofit independent publication. We bring you one of their reports each Monday right here on News Center Maine. And this week, we're taking you with a closer look at some new legislation around domestic violence. So within the past decade, nearly a dozen states have enacted legislation concerning coercive control, or tactics that abusers use to influence their victims' behavior in domestic abuse situations. Just this year, Maine followed suit with LD 670. It's legislation that recently became law here. It addresses coercion in Maine's Protection from Abuse statute. So joining us to take a closer look at this is Yasmin Khan, the Fitzgerald Public Policy Reporting Fellow with the Maine Monitor. Once again, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Let's start with an initial breakdown of what exactly is coercive control.
So, coercive control describes a range of tactics that an abuser may use to either compel their victim to do something that they don't want to do or prevent their victim from doing something that they have the right to do. So, these tactics include, but are not limited to, stalking, intimidation, and financial abuse.
So a real specific part on that coercion part of the force part. So we know there's new law on the books here in Maine. How does this now address that specific piece of this?
So LD 670 adds the word coercion to the definition of abuse in Maine's Protection from Abuse statute. I want to emphasize that LD 670 affects civil code and not criminal code. So while it will impact protection from abuse order proceedings, it doesn't apply to, say, a case of domestic violence assault. And this is pretty standard. Nearly a dozen states have codified coercive control in the past 10 years, and the only state to criminalize the practice was Hawaii. The rest responded to the practice in civil law.
So this is now, as you said, just the addition of that word to what was already on the books. And then when we look at protection from abuse orders and the proceedings around you, what is anticipated that this addition will now add or impact those proceedings?
So before I answer this question, I think it's worth noting that Maine's Protection from Abuse statute already had a very broad definition of abuse. It addressed coercive control behaviors, even if it didn't use that term exactly. So given the expansive nature of the statute, I expect that the law will have the biggest impact on people who navigate the protection order process without legal representation. These people are referred to as pro se litigants, and they make up the majority of protection order plaintiffs. Including the word coercion in the statute allows these plaintiffs to see their experiences reflected in the law, and it encourages them to think of themselves as eligible for a protection order.
Lots of breakdown once again. Yasmin, you always boil it down for us to a way we can understand the laws and legislation. It's appreciated the work you do, of course. Great to see you again. And if you want to see more of this reporting right now, you can do that right now online at themainmonitor.org.